The rate of Hyundais and Kias getting stolen in the St. Louis area is getting worse. Nationwide, it's no different. This could be bad news for you, the consumers, even if your car is safe tonight. The I-Team's Christine Byers tells us how the growing theft problem could hit insurance rates and even car values.
Even if you don't own a Hyundai or a Kia, chances are the explosion of thefts affecting those vehicles could hit your pocketbook too. Just a few hours ago, the St. Louis Police Department told me the number of Hyundais and Kias stolen so far this year is approaching 2,000. That's more than 1,000% increase over last year. Cities across the country are reporting similar surges as thieves share ways to steal the cars using USB cords on social media. Many of the cars aren't equipped with engine immobilizing technology, so they're easy to steal.
A spike in thefts of certain cars, police blaming a social media video showing how to hotwire the automobiles with a phone charger. Eva Pilgrim is here now with that story. Eva, this is a wild one. Good morning.
It's crazy. Gio, this now viral video shows people how to steal a car in less than 10 minutes. Police say it is causing a serious problem, and they're now warning owners of Kias and Hyundais to be on alert.
From coast to coast, a TikTok challenge sparking a spike in car thefts.
It's confusing to think that that could just happen, and it happens so casually that you don't really turn your head and really notice it.
My wife's car was stolen from here.
The TikTok challenge is just basically teaching people how to do it, which is pretty crazy.
If you drive a Kia or a Hyundai, I would be on the lookout.
The number of car thefts has skyrocketed. You can see in this chopper video a stolen Kia smashing into a median in Minnesota during a police chase. Police say 4 teens jumping out of the smoking car, trying to make a run for it. All 4 arrested. In the Chicago area, authorities say they've seen a 767% spike in these cars stolen.
USB. Comes in here. Turns it off. Turns it on.
Last year, there were 74 thefts in July and part of August. This year, a big jump, 642 thefts.
It was something you wouldn't even picture little kids doing, you feel me? Or something you couldn't even picture a car doing with little kids in it.
These are images from Columbus Police body cameras showing how the stolen Hyundai was crumpled after 3 14-year-olds inside slammed the car into the side of the building. Columbus police were called around 8 p.m. after reports 3 boys were trying to break into a Kia and took off in a blue Hyundai.
A surveillance camera captures the moments after an SUV came crashing into a gun shop in Westland. About 8 people spilled out of the truck, smashing open displays and grabbing upwards of 50 guns early Sunday morning. The thieves used the stolen Kia SUV to break into the gun shop. They would leave it there at the scene. They ran to their getaway vehicle waiting across the street, dropping a few guns along the way. And about an hour after that break-in at the gun shop in Westland, the exact same thing happened at this pawn shop in Dearborn Heights. The suspects are seen inside going after loan guns and with handfuls of AK pistols.
Ostrander says something like this has never happened to him. He plans to take additional measures to protect his guns and reinforce his business.
We're probably just going to start reinforcing more stuff outside on the exterior as well as the interior, just to prevent the car. That's your biggest fear, is the car.
In Bath Township, Bob Jones, News 5.
Well, Randy, it seems like there's a very premeditated pattern here. And when you're using, though, a vehicle to break into a business, what is the owner supposed to do? It seems very difficult to be able to step up your security to go against a vehicle.
Well, you know what? Interestingly enough, here at Armed in Michigan, they have a barricade in the back of the building because they always assumed if someone would try to break in, that's the only way they could really do it. They would probably try to drive in from the back of the building. They would never have thought, they never would have thought that someone would be bold enough, brazen enough to do so from the front of the building in full view of other drivers here on the street. But that is exactly what happened. They're going to be stepping up their security and doing everything they say that they can to keep something like this from happening again and to keep these firearms from ending up in the wrong hands.
Is one of many hit in a recent string of crime in the St. Louis area.
This is just terrible, you know. It's very difficult.
A group of people drove a stolen Hyundai through the front wall of King's store. But their damage went beyond just the front door.
3 people came in and attempted to break cases and failed, and they did manage to leave with a couple of firearms.
King says his store is secure. He says he knows a person wouldn't be able to break in. On the other hand,
The only weakness we had was a vehicle driving through that particular area.
Metro shooting isn't the only store targeted. 2 different Academy Sports stores were hit last week. And over the weekend, a gun store in Wright City was hit too.
This thing looked like a war zone Saturday morning when we walked in. There was fluid on the ground from the car. There was broken glass everywhere.
Video here, you can see that white Kia. Police spotted it around 7 this evening in Garner, realized it was stolen, and started the chase. State troopers joining in soon after. Police and the driver of that stolen Kia hit more than 100 miles per hour as they sped towards Raleigh. That driver finally sideswiped 2 cars here on Avon Ferry Road before jumping out and running.
Track the Hyundai Kia theft trend. Those cars are often being used for crimes like this one you see here, smash and grabs that recently happened here at several spots around the metro. But the question tonight, what do you do if you become a victim of these crooks?
This is pretty unbelievable. Almost 2,000 Hyundais and Kias have been reported stolen this year in the city alone.
The parents need to be held accountable too, because you should know what your child is into. You know, you should get more involved into your child or what they're doing.
For Gabriel,
I believe very strongly that if anybody is going to take accountability for it, it better be Kia and Hyundai, because like, oh my goodness, it is.
Surveillance video shows a stolen car crashing into a Summit County gun store. The owner says after that crash, 3 masked people stole guns and rifles from his business.
News 5's Bob Jones spoke with the store's owner, and Bob brings you the changes he is now making and his concerns after that theft.
Anger was my first reaction.
Video from Summit Armory both infuriates and worries owner Tim Ostrander, first capturing 3 masked people scoping out the business just before 4:30 this morning. And then watch as a stolen Kia Optima goes crashing through the window of the gun shop.
Shocking surveillance video shows the moments Zip Cannabis in Tacoma was robbed for the first time. Just before 2:30 Friday morning, 3 cars pulled into the parking lot. The car in the middle then slams into the front door and shoots across the store, followed by 6 suspects. The video shows them filling up bags with product. They were out of the store in just under 30 seconds.
The scariest part is that we know they are armed and they are willing to use those firearms. More than one suspect shot at the security guard.
2 of the cars were left at the scene, and police say both are stolen. One suspect took off in the 3rd car, and the rest ran away.
Say suspects gained entry to the shop and a couple of others by driving a Kia Soul through the front door. Says both times the suspects drove a Kia through the front door to get inside.
A brazen heist caught on camera. A driver rams through the doors, the moment of impact creating a new, larger entrance to a Warren County gun store and giving a group of thieves a chance to swipe guns and totally ransack the place. This is just one part of a wild story that all started with a stolen Hyundai.
And tonight, police are still looking for as many as 10 possible suspects.
Now, and as far as the investigation, here are the things that we know. We know that this happened back on Saturday morning around 1:47 in the morning. 3 cars, as many as 10 people jump out, got inside the store, grab as many guns and ammunition, and then leave the scene in under 2 minutes. Police tell us this is tied to a smash and grab scheme in the area. We're told officers were less than a minute away from catching the suspects in the action. That's how fast these criminals were operating. We talked with the GM of the store, who says his business is one of several in the area to get hit in the last 2 weeks. And that's why he says if you own a Hyundai or Kia, take up the St. Louis police offer for a free wheel bar.
These guys are able to steal the cars very quickly, and the one that was parked inside of our building was stolen just a few hours from the time it reached our building. So the time was minimal for them to get the car and use it to, basically breach our building.
I'm going to say the cars being used in these crimes are stolen, but let's take a closer look at some of that surveillance video. If we stop it for you, zoom it in, voila, there it is. You see it. It's those stolen criminal cars, and guess what? It's a stolen Hyundai. That's a part of a major crime alert for St. Louis tonight as well. Tonight, criminals are working in all pockets of the St. Louis region. They're looking for Hyundais and Kias because of how easy they are to steal.
This is where you can really see how big this problem is. I'm at the city's tow lot, and you can already see behind the fence there are multiple Kias and Hyundais parked back there. And in the hour since we've been out here, we've seen even more that were towed in. We even saw a man who came to pick up his stolen car. He tells me he wants the city to sue since he doesn't think this is a spot any driver should be in. Broken windows and missing cars.
But y'all see they tried to steal my Kia, bro.
As videos like this one on TikTok show how easy it is to steal a car in seconds. And that's helping fuel hundreds of thefts in the St. Louis region.
So I'm trying to be positive, but yeah, I was really upset.
According to city police, so far this year, around 1,900 Kias and Hyundais were stolen or someone tried to steal them. In St. Louis County, the number of Kias and Hyundais stolen nearly tripled in 3 years. The count for this year is up to 536.
It's very labor intensive on law enforcement because not only are they investigating the theft, sometimes the people who steal those vehicles commit other crimes.
Some of those crimes are happening in plain sight. Earlier this month, a stolen Kia and a stolen Hyundai were involved in a midday shootout at a busy intersection near downtown.
Police are also trying to trim these car thefts in Denver. Thefts there have become such a problem that insurance companies have restrictive coverage for Kia and Hyundai owners. The thefts in Chicago, meanwhile, are up 750% year over year. In St. Petersburg, Florida, more than 40% of stolen vehicles were made by either Kia or Hyundai. And in Milwaukee, more than 3,300 Hyundai and Kia vehicles have been stolen so far this year alone.
Imagine leaving your car in a parking garage only to find it days later in a tow yard like this, the inside torn apart.
Swiping Kias and Hyundais nationwide. In Chicago alone, the Cook County Sheriff's Department told us 750 Kia and Hyundai vehicles have been reported stolen just between July 1st and August 18th. Last year, in the same time, 88. That's a 752% increase.